Good evening. In an effort to keep you updated about the most recent developments in our city and our stand together to defeat the COVID-19 virus, I wanted to give you this brief update. As of this afternoon, DHEC is reporting that Lawrence County has 6 confirmed coronavirus infections, 2 additional infections since yesterday. These individuals who've tested positive were likely infected 1 to 2 weeks ago, and they are now showing symptoms which meet the testing criteria. Statewide, there are now 1,700 confirmed infections, and that's 147 new cases since yesterday. All counties in the state now have infections. We can truly say that we're in this together as South Carolinians. 34 South Carolinians have died from this virus, and we grieve with their families. Lawrence has received its 3rd and final shipment from the National Stockpile. These supplies of personal protective equipment will be distributed among Lawrence County EMS and the police and fire departments of Lawrence, Clinton, and the other communities across our county. It's urgent that we do all that we can to make sure that we're able to make this stretch of personal protective equipment stretch as far as we possibly can, because there's a shortage nationally of these gowns and masks and face shields and things that are needed to keep first responders and healthcare personnel safe. And if we keep them safe and free of infection, we make sure that they're able to do their jobs, and we make sure that they don't become a source of infection for all of you. So please do your part. Stay home and help keep them safe. At this time, current DHEC models are forecasting a peak in infections across the state of South Carolina in 20 days. We're doing our best to keep City Council consistent with the guidance that I've been giving you. And so today we had a called meeting to approve an emergency ordinance that will expire in 60 days, but which allows the City of Lawrence to have remote meetings where city councilors can either phone in or appear via Zoom or some other electronic platform to participate in our meetings. We want to make sure we keep our city councilors safe. Now, the public comment period, we wanted to make sure that that was still provided for. So if you have any questions or comments, what you need to do is, if you want to share those with City Council, write it down, send it to City Hall, or you can go on the contact page of the city website and put those comments down. And what we'll do is take those written comments and distribute them to every member of City Council before our meetings. I will repeat a statement I have made earlier. I have no authority under the law to issue a shelter-in-place order, and the Lawrence City Council has no authority under the law to issue a shelter-in-place order. Since we have a declared emergency, I do have the authority to declare a citywide curfew, to close certain businesses, and to take certain other measures to address the emergency and to protect public safety and health. At this time, I have not put any of those emergency measures in place. We've asked citizens to act responsibly, to look after their neighbors and family, and stay at home. At this time, I do not have plans to implement any additional emergency measures, but I can assure the people of Lawrence that I am constantly monitoring this situation hour by hour, and I will take whatever measures are necessary and appropriate under the law to maintain the health and safety of our citizens. But I want you to understand this very important point. Every citizen should understand this. We're not asking you to go about business as usual or as close to usual as possible and wait for mandatory restrictions from either the state or local government. We're asking you to do all that you can and should to slow infection voluntarily so that it isn't necessary to implement mandatory restrictions. I believe the approach that the governor has taken is that if South Carolina citizens will do what they need to do, and I'll say the same thing here locally, if Lawrence citizens will do what they need to do to look out for themselves and their family and each other, those sorts of restrictions shouldn't be necessary. In the midst of all this uncertainty, there's some good news. We've actually seen a reduction in crime during this difficult time. We've also observed that some local businesses have modified operations to adapt to this crisis, and some have seen even an uptick in business. We're glad for that. Other businesses have been forced to close by the governor's orders. Additional businesses will be forced to close Monday at 5, according to the order he issued today. And many have remained open but struggle. We ask that you do all you can to support those local businesses that are still open. If you're a business owner, please visit the city's COVID-19 page on the city website, cityoflawrencesc.com, and fill out the emergency business support form so that we can get information from you about how your business is adapting to cope with this current crisis and protect public health. And we'll do all we can to share that information with the public. You'll also find information about the emergency relief, which was recently passed through Congress and approved by the President. And if you're a member of our community, not just a resident of the city of Lawrence, but anybody who does work and shops in Lawrence on a regular basis, we hope that you'll visit the business directory on the city website so that you can see the information that we get from these businesses and find out how you can continue to support them and do business with them during this difficult time. They may post information about new delivery services or different hours or maybe even specials that they may be offering folks so that they are able to weather the storm. I also want to remind each member of our community to take a moment to pray each day at noon, or take a moment to stop and consider all our blessings. One last thing. If you find yourself feeling anxious about all this, consider what you're filling your mind with. It's easy to get overwhelmed with fear if the only thing that we're doing on our phones is reading about this virus and looking on social media to find the latest update about the virus, and only reading news stories or watching news channels about virus coverage. It's easy to get overwhelmed by that bad news. And I guess I'd put it this way. If you're afraid of a growing monster, the best way to defeat the monster is to stop feeding it. Take a break. Go for a walk. Work in the yard. Call a friend. Read a book. There's no need to fear. And though we're apart, we're all in this together. This too shall pass. That's all for now. Stay safe. Love your neighbor. Thank you.